Fiona's only a senior.
No, she's the only senior.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you were done.
Wait, am I?
I don't know why, but like,
Yeah, Elise, you're in the. Do you want to be in the video?
No, I really don't care. I'm
Okay.
gonna leave soon anyway.
Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna put this up here. Grab one of these. Okay, so juniors, all of you except for one of you, we did have class today. It was pretty good class. Bella, we had a good class.
I liked it. I feel like we should have more classes like that.
Yeah, we got to learn these terms. So, you know, I would definitely watch a video with a quiz tomorrow. And just like you get to hear a really cool bike story. You did have homework yesterday. It's over memory. Okay. Hooray. Are you study for a standardized test like
I
that?
don't know. I started studying yesterday.
actually,
Yes, you
no,
do study
I
for it.
crammed.
Yes, they're like freaking.
I don't know what you said about cramming doesn't work, but cramming works.
We'll find out soon enough because you get your score.
The highest grade that I got was when I crammed.
Okay.
In your class.
So let's look at the front page. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 questions. I'm gonna give you, 10-ish minutes. Okay. I'm gonna give you 10-ish minutes to work with this. Please work for the front. At least you already kind of know the answers to these.
Yeah, I
already
did.
went over them. So what I want you to do is did you make notes off this to the side? Okay. You can continue doing that, or maybe you can help a friend use this as a teaching time. Because if you can tell someone else an answer, if you can explain an answer, you really know it. So like I said, 10 minutes for that front page, and then we'll go over and we'll take notes off to the side and add on.
What? What's the paper? Dude, who's your paper?
Oh my gosh, Abby.
I already answered all the
I don't like this unit.
Where's your notes? Get your notes out. Get your notes out.
I don't have those.
I go down.
You go down.
My notes, my binders have my phone.
It's one of those things like
Yeah, that's fine.
this is a legit.
I absolutely hate this.
I want to say
I mean, did you really finish it?
I want to say
In this class, you are
Is this not tested a lot?
Is it your chest like your backpack?
Let me find the answer to that question for you.
Yeah.
No, your hearing is. I have no idea. Oh.
no.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Yeah. What? Oh. Like, we could just say we have tutors. Like, they can't do anything out here.
absorption, right? So wouldn't
8 to 10%. Bella.
Oh, okay.
so wouldn't it be external to aren't the terminal buttons on that?
So, you know how I start with research methods? That's 10 to 14%. We're ending right now with cognition in class. Those are the biggest chunks of the test.
Okay.
And then after that is clinical psychology and then motivation and emotion.
Can I take a photo of that?
Yep.
Yes, just because I'm in the video.
The breakdown of
Wait,
the
is it
test?
recording?
Is that
Did
considered
you
a
pause
little
it?
weird?
Yeah.
No one's gonna watch for 10 minutes.
Right.
Wait, did you pause the video? Is it
No, they are, feel free to times 2 until you see movement.
Or until. Wait, let's talk to them.
I'm
Hello, guys.
No, you are
Address the video.
7 more minutes to finish that front page.
Hello. How many people do you want to think watch this video?
You're done with this. No one else is done
I
with this.
know, I'm sorry. Okay,
my God.
So you never show up.
GABA.
Oh,
Partner, right?
Yeah.
GABA's
I'm stuck in the triangle.
I don't remember any of this.
yeah. I know it's gonna skip home it's for your muscles. Dopamine. I doubt it.
Okay.
Wait, dopamine.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
That's what alcohol makes memory. What? I don't know if that's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
I don't know. It's not
I don't know
noticeable.
anything. I don't know.
I'm sitting here.
And pencils might be
That
good.
says
Pencils
occipital.
might be good.
Metabolic activity, objectives like MRI. Wait, metabolic activity. Are you a junior? Wouldn't that?
Do you guys want an explanation on what?
EEG.
I wanna learn.
I don't understand number two.
What's it?
Okay, so it's because you guys.
Would that be where like put
It's
like the radiation, like
chill.
look at it?
So rotating is like when
It's active.
the
Isn't that the PET
signals in
scan?
the nerve, but then it's like
No,
you
it's
have
the
to
PET
take.
scan.
Oh wait, yeah. So it goes back to where it came from. So
No, the EEG,
that
yeah,
means
the
it
EEG is
goes
just
back
like
to
how,
the terminal
whatever.
So it comes down and goes back.
button.
Electrical calcium.
Absorbed K.
So my CT scan.
Because the terminal button.
I think it's
when it enters.
looking for the activity. You're not agreeing on that.
I'm not listening.
So it's A for Alzheimer's.
That's
Oh, yeah,
only
okay.
down.
Because
So
gamma is
that's-
for
It decreases heart rate.
Oh.
and then serotonin is for depression. And it's like it helps you norepinephrine, which is like alertness. So it's Alzheimer's. Then dopamine is and then April.
Reflex.
Acetylcholine is
So
like
spinal cord is reflex.
Are you gonna post? Because like also like, are you posting? Oh, and memory.
I
And memory.
Recording, I post the recording. I will also be posting
Oh my god,
right
right.
the key,
Oh,
the
girl.
thing we're about to go over. So, but you're not getting you're not getting everything, you're just getting it home.
Spinal cord is reflexes, right?
Perhaps.
Yes.
Alright. Let's say something.
Which of the following
Wait,
is
listen,
true
where are
neuron
these?
resting state?
Are these in the video? Like the recording?
The recording, so I made a,
False, D is
If
false.
you are
Concentration of specific ions is equal to false.
so in Schoology,
The outside
Okay,
of the cell membrane
And then,
is negative.
okay, the next one.
so under course content, I made a folder yesterday
That's true.
Okay.
that says AP review material. And in that review material, first off, I'm gonna talk about this in class tomorrow, but there's like, you can take a free practice test. And then here is the handout.
Well, that's a good way to think about it.
Here's the handout from our first session. I'm going to post the key sometime. And then this is the video from the very first session. So it's going to be like handout, key, video for each thing.
So you gotta feed your pet. Miss Taylor, Addison came up with a good way of running pet scans.
Oh, what is it?
Yes, you did. Yeah, I said it. She said you just feed your pet with glucose. Because if you don't have food for your pet, you won't think.
You have to feed your radioactive pet because it's radioactive glucose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either
No,
way,
I'm adding
either
to
way.
it because you need to know that it's most of the time that you're talking about PET scans, they will say the term radioactive in the problem, and that term gives it away that it is PET scans. Yeah, because it's radioactive glucose, and then they're seeing where the most radiation is in the brain, and that's where you see where the most glucose is.
So it's
So it is that.
it is the PET scan.
Excuse me.
I put it.
Yeah.
Bella.
Bella, you have no idea. Okay, does anybody need more time to work on that front page? Ryan, look alive.
I am alive.
Turn around.
Yes.
Anybody need more time on the front page? Addison, you still working?
Yeah.
Gracie, you still working?
Yeah.
Okay. Then say something.
It was so cold this morning. It's like so
Seasons, temperature,
We live in
Climate.
Texas. We have no seasons
weather,
here.
hot and slightly less hot.
Oh, it's bees. Because I put A at first.
I'm kind of upset that I actually enjoyed the unit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Number 2, researching. So I'm a triple major, but I don't know if triple major is a good idea.
In what? You can't, okay, sometimes
Okay, but they're all like really close to
like
each
what?
other. So double major for sure. Neuroscience and psychology.
Okay.
And those I need.
Neuro.
I only like 3 other classes if I wanted to major in psychology.
When you,
Okay.
when
And
you,
then the third one.
Molecular biology.
Okay, because
if you want a double major, do you put that in the application, or do you do that after you get it?
Either. Because you can change your major.
Because I asked Miss
Anatomy.
Nichols and she said, I don't know.
No, you can change it.
Okay.
I mean, it might show like your, I thought this out and here's my plan, and like that is a sign of like, oh, well, this person knows what they're doing. It's like, I know, I mean, it's maybe a sign of someone more serious. So that can help with the application process, but once you're in, you can do whatever you want.
When do you choose your minor?
That's
Just like, can you do it when you apply?
yes, or like
4 years later?
right, or 6 months before you graduate because you realize, I guess I need one more class of this for it to be my minor. It's not really the matter at the end of the day.
I missed quite a few. Do you ever go over the homework? Because I missed one on the homework after taking it twice, and I don't know why.
We can talk about it. I do when kids come up to me and say that, and I pull it up and like, let's look at it, but not like together.
So maybe like after this.
Yeah. And the reason I don't do that is like there's 10 of y'all that don't ever do homework, but if we're going over to class, they'll just turn it in late and get 100, but like still do better than people that actually try.
Right.
I'm not about to reward that.
Right.
So that's why I don't.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Hey, timer just went off. Nice, solid. Okay, so let's talk about the front page. Occipital lobe contains centers for. Okay, where is the occipital lobe? It's the very back of our head, right? It's the very back of the cerebral cortex. There are 4 lobes. Which lobe is for vision? Occipital. So it's B, this one, because this is going to be your occipital lobe. But where would hearing be? Which have temporal lobe or temporal lobe? What's what? The parietal. Okay, so there's temporal, occipital. Parietal is okay. So parietal is top of your head. This is going to be like math and spatial reasoning, but there's also one big chunk of your parietal lobe that's your sensory cortex. Okay, so sensory cortex is allowing feeling and sensation like touch. So do you know what D is saying? Okay, tactile is touching. So the sensation of touching is in your sensory cortex, which is in your parietal lobe. So it's a sensory cortex, but that's parietal lobe as well. Yes, olfaction means smell. I always think of that as like, I don't know, I've got like a little smelling factory in my brain. And so it almost kind of looks like the word factory. So it's like an old little factory in my brain. So that's smell. Does anyone know where smell is? We didn't really talk about it very much. It was like a homework one time. So both olfaction and taste have, okay, the brain is much more complicated than this high school level class is going to be talking about. And so when I'm like, there's 4 lobes of the brain. Yeah, but it's also broken down. Those cortexes are also broken down into 50 like subsections. And so the olfaction has like, it's called the like olfaction bulb, but that bulb is located as part kind of the frontal lobe. So while the frontal lobe, I need you to think of other things for frontal lobe like personality and decision making and planning and your motor cortex and your Broca's area, because that's what's going to be on the AP test. But smell and taste are also there. So it's frontal for both of these. But don't forget, frontal is so many other things as well. If I can use my, there we go. So frontal is not just taste and smell. In fact, that's the things that are going to be least asked on the test, but it's also your personality. Hey, who am I talking about? The railroad worker.
Oh my god. I talked about this on Easter for some reason.
That's weird.
I know. It was like a whole conversation.
Nothing says crisis risen more like a railroad accident. But I'm going to say there. Remember those people that used to get really big holes in their ears? What are those called?
Gauges?
Gauges. Phineas Gage. He had a gauge in his head. Right? So he lost part of his head. There's a big hole in his head. So this is going to be Phineas Gage. Not Phineas Ferb, but Phineas Gage. I misspelled Phineas, but you get it. So personality is there. Your planning and decision making is there. And the frontal lobe. What?
Isn't it higher?
It's higher. Right. Goldfish do not plan. We plan. Goldfish do not make decisions. We make decisions. But we also have in the frontal cortex. We also have different parts of the frontal cortex that are not they're not called. They're in it. Okay, so Broca's area. Let me just spit it out. Broca's area. Does anyone remember Broca's area? Talking. So this your Broca, right? There's also another part. It touches. It's the very back of the frontal lobe. It touches the sensory cortex. No, that's temporal lobe because that's hearing and that's listening. So it makes sense that it's by the ear. But what's the other? Not sensory cortex. What's the other cortex? Motor cortex. And so not only is Broca's area in the frontal lobe, so is the motor cortex. That's movement. So sensory cortex is feeling. Movement is motor cortex. Okay. Just so I'm not scrolling up and scrolling down, let's go to our scans over here. I think we kind of talked about this. What is that word? What does metabolic mean? Metabolism. What are you metabolizing?
Glucose.
Glucose and blood sugar. Okay? So this is your blood sugar. That's your metabolism. It's glucose. Glucose is your brain's fuel. We haven't talked about intelligence yet because that's later on this week or next week. I don't even know what day. But smarter people, higher IQ brains actually use less glucose when they're thinking than a dumber brain. So a smart brain is fuel efficient. A smart brain is a Prius, and a dumb brain is like a big truck, which kind of doesn't that just make sense? Yeah, that correlates. So this is going to be your blood sugar. So what if they want to see what part of your brain is most active and using the most fuel? They're going to use a radioactive glucose and put it in your bloodstream. So it's going to go to your brain. It's going to go all over your body, but it's going to go to your brain, and they can see where your most usage of your glucose is. Okay, what does an MRI show?
The structure.
The structure, but of a part of the brain or the whole brain? Slices, but front to back. So it's going to see the whole brain structure, and it's almost 3D, basically. You can put the slices together and kind of make a 3D image. But you see the structure. While CT is just an X-ray. It is like a single slice. You can still see the structure of the brain, but not of everything, just of a single slice. What does an EEG show you? Brain waves. What are you probably studying if you're looking at someone's brain waves? Sleep. Okay, so this is waves, brain waves, and you're probably doing a sleep study. So if there's a test question that's talking about sleep, the answer is probably EEG. Just saying. What?
Seizures, right?
Yes, but majority of questions that I've seen are EEG sleep questions. And then electrical stimulation of the brain is not a way to visualize the brain at all. It would just be is this like shock therapy, electroconvulsive therapy? Like shock therapy for depression? That's not really a way to visualize the brain. That's just running electrodes through the brain. Okay. Oh no. All right, scrolling up. All right, we talked about reuptake. I heard some people talk about reuptake. This is if your neurotransmitters are not being absorbed. So I'm actually going to draw a little picture here so here is something like that. This is if this is the sending part of the neuron, what is it called? terminal branch, terminal buttons, axon, terminal, all of these words are the same for what you need to know. And then here is the receiving neuron, so that must be a dendrite. All these little, this right here is the synapse. Synapse, or the synaptic gap, or the synaptic cleft. Which, pick a word, scientists, just pick a word. But the space between them is really, really small. But that is, they aren't touching. The terminal and dendrites are not touching each other. For the longest time in science, we actually thought they were, until we got a really fancy microscope, and zoomed in real hardcore, and we realized they weren't touching. But that is where neurons are being released. If they are not finding its way to the dendrite, then they're just going to go back home, and they're going to go back to the sending terminal branch. So some of them will go and they will be absorbed by the receiving dendrite, but some of them will not. And so the absorption, just kidding. Hold on. The absorption of neurotransmitter into the dendrite. No, the absorption of neurotransmitter into the terminal buttons of the sending neuron. All of the other things are just not right. Okay. Activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic versus what? Sympathetic. Which one is which? Sympathetic is fight or flight. That seems like a question. Parasympathetic, right. This is calm, while the sympathetic is like aroused.
Is there a easy way to remember that?
If a bear is chasing you, I am so sympathetic to that. That sucks. All the things that happen to your body when a bear is chasing you. What are the things that are happening to your body? All of these things are happening to your body if a bear is chasing you. So your sympathetic nervous system, when a bear is chasing you, your pupils will dilate so you can see probably exit strategies easier. You will breathe. Yeah, you will breathe faster, your respiratory rate will increase. You actually will stop digesting because you are saving energy, you're conserving energy, and all that energy that usually goes to digestion is going to go to your arms and legs so you can escape. And you are going to get dry mouth. When people are really nervous, you see this on like watch any court. When people are on the stand, they get really nervous. And so they start drinking water. That's when you know when someone's lying, usually when they start drinking a whole bunch of water. But this is calm.
So wait, how do you remember that again? Because I always forget.
I'm sympathetic that a bear is chasing you. Anything that happens to your body, if a bear is chasing you, I'm definitely not going to be calm if a bear is chasing me. I'm totally going to be like wide awake and like running for my life. And so sympathetic that a bear is chasing me.
Screaming starts with an S, and so is sympathetic. And your heart beats faster when screaming.
And parasympathetic starts with a P. You know what else starts with a P? I was going to say pons, which is part of your brain stem, which is for sleep. But you know. No, it's the opposite.
Oh, that's right, sympathetic.
Okay.
That's right. Never mind.
Don't pee your
Sorry,
pants.
I'm sorry.
Okay, erasing. Here we go. Oh no, not erasing. I'm scrolling. Now erasing.
Yeah. Or you just be like, that's sympathetic scared.
Sympathetic scared. Okay.
Parasympathetic.
Parasympathetic.
Pillow.
Pillow. Yeah, you're
Peace.
Peace. Parasympathetic. Screaming and scared.
Yeah.
Sympathetic. All right. Yeah. Actually, if you that was me that said that. They were just responding to what I was saying. Okay. Researchers are using blah, 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 blah. Alzheimer's. Which of the following is related to Alzheimer's? You know what Alzheimer's starts with? The letter A. You know what else starts with the letter A? Acetylcholine.
Really?
AA. Acetylcholine. What? What? Okay. So acetylcholine. What are y'all talking
There's
about?
like clinking out there, and it sounds like a rat in the ceiling.
Well, there is a bird in Mr. Taylor's room.
What?
There's a
You
bird.
didn't see that video? What
Oh
video?
yeah, it was all over like everywhere.
As we like right now?
Yeah, there's a bird right there.
Really?
Wait,
Do
inside.
we want to take a quick field
Yeah.
trip?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Okay.
Oh,
We're not opening the door.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all are not distracted by the.
Oh.
Wait. No, I was awarding your self-restraint for something as silly as a bird in a building.
Like a wild bird.
Yeah, there's like a hole in the ceiling, so it must have got in like the ceiling part because this is just like little tiles here, but there's a tile with a hole in it, and so it went from.
But how, it came from outside?
That's usually where birds are.
But that means there's like a hole in the wall, yeah? Like hole from this.
Private Texas.
Right there. That means there's a hole like from
Yes.
from outside in.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
okay.
Oh no, not distracted. Phones. Okay. Hey, let's talk about all these neurotransmitters and what you should remember about each of them. Starting with GABA.
Slows down.
Slow. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. Inhibitory.
Wait, I swear it's in the ceiling. It like just came. It was like right there. Stop.
Aw,
Right there.
class pet.
No.
Wait, everyone listen.
Okay.
Everyone listen. I'll let you know when I hear it. It was like. You can like hear it.
Okay. Hey, what drug?
Oh.
Alcohol. Okay, serotonin. No, I'm not drug first.
Oh.
Serotonin related to
Depression.
Is that
okay, mood maybe,
hunger?
hunger, but what disorder? Depression. Both of these depression. Norepinephrine is going to be alertness, sleep.
Like a
Yeah, like fight or flight. So the neurotransmitter is called norepinephrine, but the hormone that does the same thing is adrenaline. Adrenaline is also called epinephrine. Epinephrine. Hey, dopamine. What is it related to?
Dope.
Okay, weed, yes, but also schizophrenia. And acetylcholine is got a whole bunch. Yes, obviously Alzheimer's, that is the question, but it's memory, and movement and learning. That makes sense. That memory would be associated with acetylcholine, which is also associated with Alzheimer's disease. Okay, moving on. Juana accidentally touched her hot iron. She immediately drew back her hand before she even registered the pain. Which of the following is true about the withdrawal of her hand? This is a reflex, kids. A reflex. What am I writing? What am I writing? Someone spelled reflex. Reflex. There we go. A reflex happens in the spinal cord. There is no brain involvement at all when it comes to a reflex. But here's the thing. The motor cortex, voluntary behavior, and instructions due to the brain, those are all the same answer choice. Your brain will tell, like I'm choosing to do something, and like that voluntary movement is the motor cortex. So A, C, and D are all the same answer. And I don't know even what E is even talking about. I mean, I get what he's talking about, but it's not even related to anything. It's just like the obviously wrong answer. I put E. All right, I'm scrolling up. Here I go. Hey, oh, never mind. I'm not scrolling up. That's cool. All right. Where did you come from? Oh, you clear. Nope.
Still on the original.
Okay. Thanks. I just.
Click clear and then click
Clear. Back.
Then mouse.
Mouse bird. All right. Most glands in the human body are going to be part of which system?
endocrine.
Right, because these are your hormones. Hormones are released by glands. Let's talk about the two hormones that you definitely need to know. Not two hormones, the two glands that you definitely need to know. There's the pituitary gland. Where is it and what does it do?
In your
It's in the
brain.
brain. And what does it do? It's the master gland, so it does control all the other glands. What? Who says G? The G word. No? Growth. It's the growth hormone.
Oh.
It releases the growth hormone. But it is the master gland. So it releases the growth hormone while you're asleep, which is why babies sleep all the time, and they also double their weight in their first year of life, which is pretty incredible because if any of us doubled our weight in 1 year, that would be a problem. Okay, and last but not least, a neuron in the resting state. We're going to label a neuron on the next page, but it looks something like this. Brian. Okay. Okay, yeah. So look at that axon. Look how it's flat and like a flat line. You know what's a flat line? A negative sign. You know what's not a flat line? Everything else around it, which is positively charged. So at a resting state, inside is negative, but outside the membrane of the axon is going to be positive.
Oh, I read that.
It is polarized because positives are in one place, negatives are in another place. The D, both the sodium and the potassium channels are open. That happens during the firing of the neuron. What is it called when like electricity? What? Action potential. And B can never happen. It's not the negatives that go in and out. It's the positives that go in and out that always is negative on the inside. Okay, let's turn to the inside. Back page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll give you about 10 minutes, which is more than enough time to work on those questions with a friend. Chalk it out. Learning is social.
Yes. We'll go sideways now. The press is corrected your visions of the
No point. Do you really want to see this?
oh
Hey.
nice. You can see. Don't okay.
Oh,
Like I know the words, but I don't know what it says.
Versus autonomic.
I put pun, or no, not pun.
I probably wasn't thinking.
That's not an excuse.
Because I do not remember what I'm talking about.
No, it's
For what?
it's not.
I just said,
No, don't give me the answer those.
I just said it yourself.
Yeah, I know it's not.
That's not very good.
I think it's C2. Okay, research suggests that it has the same effect producing pain because this is me.
Yeah, yes, it is. Oh, it is.
Definitely not me. Probably D.
Yeah.
Oh, the car. Personally, if I got that right now, I would have to win.
REM behavior. Wait, oh wait, you're just reading. Oh, that's the guy. I didn't read the class. Brain's ability to adapt to its damage is known as elasticity.
How many FRQs are on there?
2.
Damage towards Nikki's area. That's
One is
case
always the
states,
research method,
right?
but they are going to combine in other things.
Oh, the
It's just like
research.
everything, but it's heavy.
No, it's
research method.
understanding.
And then the other one is brain.
How many hours are you texting?
Right?
Yeah, So,
Damage to
Something.
limbs, damage easier.
Wait, which one's that? We have apes. Oh, good
Yeah.
luck. I'm only taking two.
ours is,
I still don't know what the first
yeah,
one
okay,
is.
ours is 7. Okay, so it's 70, it's 100 questions, so 70 minutes. And then you get like a 10-minute break. And then the MRQ is 15 minutes.
50.
Yeah.
50, 50.
For
2.5 use, 25 in each.
But like, you can answer
What
three
does that
questions.
tile have like
Get it
arrows?
right. I mean, three
Good
sentences.
question.
I've never had
I could
anyone
stand up on
not,
the
I've never had
desk
anyone
and
not
see what
finish.
happened.
Yeah.
Do you have to do the synonym part?
No,
Whole family of
just
mice
the
fall out.
yes.
Oh, that happened actually.
Like,
Really?
but some people,
Yeah.
I
With
have
who?
Miss Spalding's room.
I know
seen
her.
where it's like they add a
She's
synonym
communication.
that actually
I
helps.
just know that.
So you'll be
Like they
And
miss
they were trying to look for
definitions. Their definition was right, but their synonym was like, oh, what you did here was you kind of actually defined it in a story type of thing. So they got the definition part of it because they have a synonym. But you are not going to count it off for not having a synonym, but it could strengthen what you said.
They were dead.
It's like
Oh,
it takes long.
that might be.
You have to do it. You
that
can't
was
do
their
it.
ideas. I don't know if they've done anything about that.
Bro. If I take that.
See, stuff like that. I don't know.
In the planning memory lunch,
Oh.
we saw a rat scurry across the light, but then between the light and this light, it squeaked.
Oh.
The light dimmed for a second and then turned back on, and then we never saw the rat again.
Oh my god.
So we're like,
It
it was
died.
stinking here for a few days.
Did it?
Thankfully it didn't.
I
But
was saying that in Miss Spalding's room, they were looking for something and a rat just came.
oh, 100%. Like we had a rat in here last year. You were there. No, last semester. Did we? Was that last semester or last year? Maybe it was last year.
I don't remember.
Okay, but it was like clear because it was like, and like scurrying across and
In
going.
Tabola's, there was like a nest or something. So there was like a whole like 3 piles of roses.
Yeah.
No, it's not. What was it?
Mr. Taylor came back from Christmas break maybe 2 years ago, and there was a dead bird in the room. So it was just flying around for however long.
There's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, my teacher's room, it's like freezing in there, and then the room next to her, it's like more cold in there than it is outside.
You cut funding, education, you're cutting everything. So, let's think about that, kids. All right. Are we done?
Yes.
He does? My dad does.
Hey, focus. Oh, you already doing that. Okay.
No, I did.
Well, I saw that you. Okay, I saw that. Okay, never mind.
You saw that you already.
I saw that you did some, which means that, and you skipped it, which means you probably are waiting for me. Okay. All right. So, the very first one. The network of structures involved in emotion, motivation, and memory. This is the limbic system. And let's talk about the things in the limbic system. There are 3 structures of the limbic system. What is the one responsible for emotion?
Amygdala.
Amy G. Dalla. She's just so emotional. Amygdala. Amy G. Dalla, that's emotion. Which one is responsible for memory? Hippocampus.
Because hippos are like elephants, and elephants remember everything.
Exactly.
I'll use that.
Yeah. I don't think you said that you weren't there, right?
I don't remember learning this.
So amygdala,
Your
hippocampus.
failed.
Okay, it says motivation, but we are motivated by hunger. We're motivated by fornication. We're motivated by flight and fight. We're motivated by the 4 F's. What is it? What?
You just said it all.
Yeah, but what am I writing?
Oh, hypothalamus.
Thank you. Hypothalamus is those 4 F's. Food, flight, fight, fornication, and the pleasure that we get from those, and so we're motivated. Hey.
I thought the cerebellum controlled your memory.
Cerebellum is muscle memory, but playing the piano.
Oh.
Tying your, not episodic, not episodic memory. Muscle memory is implicit memory. Episodic memory is a type of explicit memory. You can talk about episodes of your life, but it's kind of hard to talk about muscle memory like tying your shoes.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. What is the pons related for? What do you do on your pillow? You sleep. So sleep and dreams. It's part of the brainstem, yes. Corpus callosum. It connects the hemispheres. Connects hemispheres. Oh, why would it be cut? Okay, and the whole split brain. If you can say what's on the right and talk what's on the left, we're not going to get into that. But connects hemispheres, and it would be cut because of epilepsy. All right, cut. It's just think of a rubber band. It is a structure, but think of a rubber band that you're holding between your arms. Like I can just cut it, and it's like you don't need to remove it because the whole point of it was holding it together. We've already talked about parietal lobe and occipital lobe. Okay, a patient reports constant sleepiness. A series of tests reveal that the patient's sleep is frequently interrupted by periods of interrupted breathing. Okay. Does anyone's dad in here have a sleep machine, a breathing machine? Okay, what do they have? They have sleep apnea. So this is when you stop breathing when you sleep. It does not kill you. You're not going to stop. You're not going to live. You're not going to live. You're not going to die. But you will just wake up gasping for breath, and that can be really disruptive to your sleep.
When did the bird get into Mr. Taylor's
Sometime today, Luke.
Was he in it during?
Yeah.
No, this was when you come back from
No one was
SATs.
taking the SAT in it.
No, they were.
They were.
They were?
No.
So did it happen
They
during
were.
the SAT or after? Like sixth period or like what's
At
it?
some point between SAT and sixth period, a bird entered the room.
So the
It
SAT
is no
was
longer in the
uninterrupted.
room. It has now been removed either by force or voluntarily.
I don't think it could climb back.
I don't think it climbs at all. Okay.
I think it's in this.
Hey, let's talk about all of these other ones. Narcolepsy. What is narcolepsy?
All sleep REM.
Okay, so you go from like awakeness all the way to REM. And you think that these people would be very, very rested. They are not, because they're not getting good. These are sleep problems. These are not like, oh, well, I have really great sleep because I have narcolepsy. No, they just randomly fall asleep due to stress usually. So stress, and it's like immediate sleep. They can, but they have just trouble. And so a lot of people with narcolepsy do not drive for the reason of like, I almost got in a car accident. Now I'm definitely in a car accident. Sleep terrors is not a nightmare. A nightmare is just a bad dream that happens while you are in REM sleep, because that's when dreams happen. But night terrors, the reason that they're terrible and terrifying is that they happen during your deepest stage of sleep, stage 4. So this is stage 4.
It's like sleep paralysis.
It's written. It's not sleep paralysis. That's something different. Sleep terrors is like they might sleepwalk, and they might and it's really hard to wake them up because stage 4 is associated with so deep a sleep that you cannot wake someone up. So it's not like storm. We had a storm last night. I didn't even hear it. You were stage 4. How could you not notice that you needed to pee? You peed the bed. That's stage 4. I'm sleepwalking, and it's really hard to wake someone up. I'm a sleepwalker. Stage 4. How can I say this? Nocturnal emissions. Stage 4. And so.
Got it.
People get night terrors.
It's not why people. I don't think those are connected. Whoa.
No, I mean like with sleep terrors. Are night terrors also on stage 4, and that's why it's hard to wake them
Yeah.
up? Wait.
That's what we're talking about, Oni.
What did you mean about emissions?
Ejaculation during sleep.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't have to make
I
that.
thought you meant like.
I thought flatulence.
Yeah, that's what I
I was
thought.
thinking flatulence.
No.
That's what I thought you meant. I was like,
No, I
And
mean
then she went
like
like that. And
That's
I'm like,
that.
wet dreams.
yeah, wet dreams.
But so it's called sleep terrors, but it's just kind of like
A sleep terror is like a nightmare. That's not a nightmare. It is like some people they're hallucinating like demons.
oh, so you're talking about stage 4. You were just saying everything that
All of
happens in
those
stage.
things
Okay.
happen in stage 4.
I thought you were
And
saying
so
sleep
sleep
terrors.
terrors, they're
Yeah, me too.
I thought-
I was
sleep
like,
terror.
oh,
I didn't know what
This
difference
one-
sleep
this one,
terror.
I was like,
see how those are related. No, all of those things that are impossible to wake someone up in, they're all happening in stage 4.
That makes sense now.
So like, if you have sleep terrors, you like, do you like when you wake up, you remember the sleep terrors, and that's why it's like.
Sometimes
Or
people
like,
do,
or
sometimes
like
people
it
don't.
feels like you're awake and you're having terrors, but
Yes.
you can't wake them up.
Yes.
Oh, do remembering your
So you're like,
dreams
your brain is
correlate to
activating
certain
you
stages of
remember.
sleep?
You probably were closer to awakeness.
I had that one time.
Oh, do people with
We all
PTSD
do.
have sleep terrors?
Okay, hey, we gotta move on.
Actually,
Because
that was a good
literally,
question. That was a
maybe
good
one
question.
question on
That
the
was a
whole.
question.
What was your question?
I said, do people with PTSD have sleep terrors?
Oh, probably.
yes.
But sleep terrors, I need you to associate this because specifically on the test. No, not just stage 4, but stage 4 in children. Usually people grow out of sleep terrors.
Well, not if you have
Unless they have
PTSD.
PTSD.
Like,
Perhaps.
like veterans.
Yes, maybe. I think they're more associated with night terrors.
Night-
Frick, nightmares. Nightmares, which is REM.
Frick.
So
Okay.
children.
Someone, it's been a while since I taught AP Psych. It's also been a while since I said that word. Yes, it's either, someone check me, Google it. It's either sleep talking, or sleepwalking. It's one of those. Can someone look it up?
Which one?
It's sleepwalking.
So that's
Okay, so sleepwalking also happens in stage 4, and once again, it's often in children, and they grow out of it. It is sleepwalking. There's also like another word for like teeth grinding, but I don't think we need to know about that.
My mom has that.
My mom.
Yeah, does she have a mouth guard?
Yes.
I was like, I guess I was
You mean headaches and stuff?
My dad sings in
Sings?
sings.
I have sung in my sleep, but it's not something I do
Wake up
all
in the
the
middle
time.
of the night, he's just singing like George Strait. In the middle of the night.
All right, let's talk about what alcohol does to human functioning. I wonder which one it does. Does it increase alertness and make you the best driver ever?
wait.
Makes me.
I don't
Listen,
drive and
What
drink.
if you're like a really
I don't
crazy
drink.
driver naturally, and you're like, it's like the alcohol makes you a normal driver because like,
Incorrect.
but like, what if that is?
That is not a thing.
But like, it could.
No, it's not. Your reaction. So okay, your reaction time is slowed. Reaction time is slowed, and so if you have like, I don't even know what reaction time too fast would be. Just a jerky driver. This is you should not
Don't treat
do not drink and drive. You know how many people are dead from drinking and driving? It depresses the nervous system.
Well, it usually doesn't kill the drunk person.
Right, it doesn't. It just kills like the innocent bystander.
Yes.
Yeah, because most
That's
people
worse
when
than
they
dying.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
It really is.
yeah, I'd rather be dead than kill someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
they survive? Actually,
Uh,
I always wondered
It's
why.
actually okay. So
Because you
When-
protect yourself when you drink.
No, but like you're
I always
drunk, you
thought
don't know.
I'm answering the question.
We're listening.
Okay, so when you are sober and you're aware of your surroundings and you know you're about to get into an accident, your body tenses up and you're more likely to cause yourself injury because your body is already tense. But people that are drunk driving, because it is depressing, their muscles and their reaction time is they're too slow to react, so they do not. So they're almost like a rag doll in the car, and they're less likely to hurt themselves. I mean, sure, they murder an entire family and like rot in prison, that person, but they're okay.
So you're saying if you get in an accident, it's better to be like loose than like stiff?
Yeah, that does make
Yes,
sense.
you should not.
So like if you see a car coming head on, like it's too late.
Seatbelt
You guys
on.
like just like
No, oh Jesus, take the wheel. But
like,
our
don't
natural
feel
reaction would be like our instinct would be like to protect ourselves and to like
Jump
brace
in
for
the back
impact. No. Okay, just no. There's no other reasons. It's not like those are just wrong. Okay,
Can you depress the thyroid system?
I'm sure if you have like a thyroid disease. So where's your thyroid? It's like here. I think it's here actually, like right here. And so this is a gland, and it is responsible for
Oh crap! Metabolism.
metabolism. And yeah, and so if you depress your thyroid system, you're not going to have fast metabolism, but alcohol's not going to do that to you.
Doesn't weed?
Yeah, right.
No, and
Oh no,
If you
nicotine
get-
does that. Nicotine speeds up your metabolism.
If you get hit in your
I don't know.
thyroid, don't you like
I don't
bleed
smoke.
everywhere?
Yeah, it's not big.
never smoked. All right, and brains have the ability to adapt. Acid. Plasticity. Okay.
Okay, what's the difference between that and elasticity? I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Isn't that a term? Elasticity?
Elasticity.
Yeah.
That's an eco term. I don't know what it's. I don't think it's a psych term. It might be. So this just means your brain cannot grow. It's not your brain is not a lizard's tail. Okay, it doesn't just grow back if it gets pulled off. It cannot regrow, but it can reorganize. So the brain does not regrow, but it does reorganize. So if there's parts of the brain that have received injury, there's some lesions of some kind, there might be other parts of the brain that do not do that job, but since the part of the brain that does that job is no longer doing that job, other parts of the brain might help out with that function. All right. Oh, Jesus. Come on. All right. Which of the following correctly pairs subdivisions with the major division of the human nervous system? So it's asking which one of these things are pairs to a larger category. So the somatic. What does the somatic nervous system do? Somatic. There's somatic, and the flip side of that is autonomic. So it's either somatic or autonomic.
It's like intentional.
Okay, so autonomic happens automatically. Somatic is like voluntary movements of the skeleton. Somatic skeleton. Voluntary movements of the skeleton.
Is that the one that does like the subdivision of like parasympathetic?
No, the somatic. Oh wait, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the somatic is split into sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Okay.
So that's
Somatic
correct.
is like voluntary control.
So that's wrong because the if it says somatic, sympathetic and parasympathetic, then you would be right. But it says endocrine and exocrine.
But you don't control your sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Oh,
You don't control your flight or fight.
you're right. God, that's autonomic. Sympathetic
So it's-
stops.
Oh.
Okay, I need to hold on. Nervous system. You got your central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord, and that's it. And then your peripheral nervous system, which is split into. Okay, sorry, Bella, you were wrong. This is incorrect. Okay. Parasympathetic is split into autonomic, which is automatic, and then somatic. And the autonomic is split into sympathetic and parasympathetic.
And somatic's just somatic.
And somatic is just somatic. It just stops there.
Nice.
Okay. So then what's the correct answer here?
Autonomic.
C. Autonomic splits into sympathetic and parasympathetic. Central doesn't. If it said brain and spinal cord, sure. Sympathetic doesn't split into anything. That's not like the top category of anything. Peripheral's right there, but central nervous system is this other thing. It's not related. Central nervous system is brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is all of the nerves that go off of your brain and spinal cord into your arms and legs.
So wait.
So somatic is just voluntary.
Yes, I am choosing to move my skeleton over here now. Sympathetic nervous system.
Wait, so
Somatic.
Somatic nervous
I
system.
understand.
Stupid scientists. You couldn't find other words, just like skeleton nervous system, not skeleton nervous system. That's what it should be. Like, why can't it be something easy like economics? Just kidding.
wait, what's in this somatic?
Voluntary movements of the skeleton, of the muscular parts of your body.
Do you teach this class last semester?
No. I had on-level eco. Nope. What did I have last semester?
On-level eco.
I had on-level eco last
For
semester.
these class periods?
Yeah.
Who teaches them now? Oh, they don't. They have government.
Yeah.
There's still, is it?
Eco was first half.
On-level eco is Walling and Kearns. I have AP eco. Everybody AP eco.
I've never heard of those people.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
eco books,
but
Yeah.
Sympathetic.
Okay.
Sympathetic. Like there's no subclasses.
Sympathetic and parasympathetic stop. That's the end. Yeah. Okay. Research suggests that hypnosis is effective in reducing pain because. What do you think? If you had to pick,
Diverts attention is what I picked.
is correct.
I actually got that right.
It's okay. It actually increases the subject's level of suggestibility. So, like, you can suggest that they do something, and they're more likely to do it if they are hypnotized. So, it doesn't lower their level of suggestibility; it increases it. It does not interfere with functioning brain cells. That doesn't make any sense. And amnesia, no.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
Yeah.
I've been trying
Is
to be
it real?
hypnotized. I think it's real, yeah. I mean, like, if you get like a doctorate in psychology, you will learn to hypnotize people. Like that's.
already always distracted, so I don't think it works.
They say it depends on how quickly you can fall asleep. So if you can fall asleep very quickly, like you're a person who's like, I'm out immediately, then you're more likely to be hypnotized. But if someone that sits and tosses and turns before they fall asleep, you're gonna have a hard time being hypnotized.
Depends.
Okay, last one. Wernicke's area. Which lobe is Wernicke's area? Which side? The left temporal lobe.
It's on the right.
No, it's not.
What is?
All language is on the left. Language left. This is Wernicke's area, which is understanding language.
Like what is on the right there?
No special no special pieces are on the right.
It's just there.
All special pieces are on the left.
But isn't it? It's
Broca's area is on front left, and then then Wernicke's is parietal left. So if you're gonna be careful
You
with
said temporal.
what I say.
You said temporal.
Yes, I meant temporal.
Okay.
Temporal left,
And then
because it's by your
Broca
temples, which is by your
frontal.
ears, which is hearing and understanding.
Broca's
And then Broca's is also it's left frontal, and it's speaking. Okay, let's label our brain and neuron, shall we?
I think I leave them.
Oh.
Okay, let's do the brain first. I hate to ask this. Everyone knows the front versus the back of the head brain, right? Okay, so this is the front. This is the back.
You're telling me someone can sit through your class and not know the front versus the back of the brain?
Well, I got a whole bunch of eco kids that don't know the difference left and right. So I never assume. I never assume. Okay, this is the frontal lobe. But the back of the frontal lobe, which is right here, is the motor cortex. Okay, so everything, like I'm outlining in green. Outlining green is frontal. Okay, outlining red is parietal. But the front part of the parietal lobe is the sensory cortex.
So it touches the motor.
Yeah, the sensory cortex and the motor cortex touch, but they are part of different lobes. The black area here, this is well, it's actually a little further back. Hold on. There we go. This is the temporal lobe. And the very back, which is going to be blue, is the occipital lobe.
Why is the occipital lobe so far away from our eyes if it's the one we used to look?
Yeah, that seems like a God question.
Wait,
That does not seem like a high school economics teacher question.
what was the question?
Oh, why was our brain made like this?
Okay.
That's like an evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah, that's Charles Darwin.
What's the thing below the occipital lobe?
This thing right here?
Cerebellum, yes.
I was about to ask that. What is this? Cerebellum. This is that procedural memory that we talked about earlier. So this is the cerebellum. I would be really impressed if anyone told me what cerebellum actually means.
Oh,
New.
What?
Mini brain.
Yeah, it's like little brain. Yeah, mini brain.
I thought that was like post Civil War.
cerebellum is
What?
post-civil
No,
war.
antebellum.
Oh my God.
God.
Okay, message to myself later to tell my husband what you just said.
I was along the lines.
Uh-huh. Hey, you know how you asked about the ponds earlier? There's a sneak peek of it right there. Actually, just kidding. Right there. That's the ponds. Hey, what's this right here?
Brainstem.
Yeah, okay. What's the
Balance.
most bottom part of the brainstem? Medulla.
No, I said control demon.
No, cerebellum controls balance.
Really?
Medulla is your heartbeat and breathing. It's like
Oh,
goldfish
no, I
have
knew
a
that. I knew that.
Yes, but Medusa, who if you look at her, she stops your heart and she stops you from breathing.
Oh, okay, that's smart. That's smart.
Medusa, medulla. So if you see Medusa, she's gonna stop your heart and stop you breathing. Okay.
We just called it the medulla.
What?
I called it the medulla.
No, medulla. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, let's add a couple things. I'm adding this right here. That's Broca. I'm adding this guy right here. That's Wernicke's.
Markers.
Why are you using this?
Just like
We ready for our neuron?
Sure.
Imagine having a part in the brain named after you. That would be awesome.
I know, right?
Like Broca? Dr. Paul Broca?
That was actually.
Yeah, he named it after himself.
I was talking about Wernicke because that's obviously a name.
And what's crazy is that he named it after, okay, so he discovered it in a patient. So a patient they called tan because that's all he could say was tan. And Paul Broca was like, you know what? I bet you anything the part of his brain that's messed up is like speech. And then so when Tan died, Paul Broca did an autopsy on Tan and realized that the only part of the brain that looked weird was this little tiny spot on the left-hand side of the lobe. And so instead of naming it after the patient,
He did it himself.
he named it after himself.
I would have said tan spot.
Yeah, like,
It's like a good name.
like tribute to Tan.
Yeah.
TT.
Or
Tan's
maybe
tribute.
Tan's real name.
But it's very grouped. It's very like Hodor, if you watch that Game of Thrones. Those people that like group.
Was his name Tan?
No, they called him Tan because that's all he could say.
That's messed, but that's not his name.
That's so mean.
Yeah, well, we're
Actually,
not
only
very
one you can
nice
say is
people
your name.
historically. Okay. So here's the thing. I tried my darndest to find an empty neuron picture that went the other way.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. It wouldn't let me. It like I like would bring it here and then like try to no, it didn't
You
like.
can
Just
click
right click
flip.
on it and click
Well, I don't know how to do that.
You just right click.
Shut up. So action potential head this way. So like this is the electric pulse direction is from the cell body, which is the soma, which has all of the dendrites, down the axon. This whole thing here is the axon. Hey, what's the axon covered with?
Myelin sheath.
The myelin sheath. Can you spell that for me?
MYELIN.
MYELIN. Sheath. Okay. That's a fatty tissue. That's a myelin sheath. Fatty tissue. Luke,
This is
I
why
get
humans are
called.
mean.
I get called fatty.
you get called fatty?
I get called fatty.
You're what, like You're not fat.
At my lunch table, they all call me fatty.
Who are your friends?
Do we need
Yeah,
to have a
get
counselor?
new friends.
I know.
Are all they they really thin and skinny?
Yeah, they are.
So you're just relatively fatty.
Yes.
And here's the terminals, branches, terminal buttons, terminal axons, whatever you want to call it.
I've never heard a teacher call someone relatively fatty before.
I called them worse earlier.
What'd you say?
No, when you signed up for oh my gosh, at therapy.
Yes. That was so mean.
Oh yeah.
Rational emotive therapy, RET.
You're so skinny you have to move to hit the water.
Okay. All right.
And that was right after your haircut too?
Yep.
Yep.
No, like actually everyone's face is like.
She remembers.
Well, he told me the things that he was like unconscious, like subconscious.
He said
Insecure?
biting his
Insecure.
nails, his hair.
I've stopped biting my nails.
You stopped biting your nails
Yes,
for
my
that?
nails are growing. Like, for real.
That's
Teacher insulted
amazing.
me.
I
That would
remember
change,
people
yeah.
interact.
It's working.
Is it that bad to bite your nails?
Actually, yeah.
It's really unsanitary. Hello, pandemic. But also like it's kind of just a gross habit.
Why is he here?
Like if people constantly have their fingers in their mouth, I don't want to touch their hands.
Right.
Don't touch me then. That's so personal.
Well, I wasn't going to touch you anyways. I'm not going to reach up and touch people without like consent and permission.
Tell that to every male teacher.
Bro.
Oh, you're talking about Mrs. Smith.
Hey, what?
Okay, Mr. Smith is amazing. I love Mr. Smith.
Oh, hey, we do need to notice. Anyone remember what a glial cell is?
No.
Oh, it's just, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jessica.
This is it supports neurons. It's a cheerleader for neurons. It brings water and nutrients.
Beautiful.
Yeah, glial. You go, neuron. You go. Full orchestra? She's late. Oh, what a rebel. Okay, glial cells just support neurons. So it's going to be like I don't know. Go neuron. We completely disintegrated into madness. All right, I'm going to give you some time to work on that FRQ at the end.
Oh.
I know. FRQs are so much fun. No. Okay. So technically there are 2 FRQs. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do the first one. We'll talk, and then a few minutes for the second one. Talk.
For the very first FRQ, I completely forgot what temporal lobe was, and I completely guessed the whole thing.
I know.
But
I read it. It was like, it helps us do our things to our body.
yeah, I mean, I got
it
100
helps the brain.
of the FRQ.
It is a part of the brain.
Right.
Sorry.
So that was the test I think I got like 1 point below you, Jessica. So you can.
All right. Work on that FRQ.
Okay, let's discuss this, Jessica. I do. I just didn't read it yet.
Are you sure?
It's just a sunset, and Freddie is hiking,
Oh.
and then the dog stops, and then that's rabies, and then like he squints.
Wait, this is the FRQ we did on the thing.
Why? Yeah.
It's like attacking
I
him.
never. No. It's on the test.
Oh wait, his dog.
The dog
I didn't
is-
read the question.
This is from the test.
You want to come work an hour?
Good voice. What test?
It's like this, like adrenaline. Epinephrine is P and F is adrenaline. Is made
Yes.
of the
Peripheral nervous system. That is your
peripheral nervous system is
somatic.
autonomic
Yes.
and somatic, and autonomic is parasympathetic.
Yes. So occipital, what he saw, he squints.
Natural selection
Wait, why is there natural selection?
Darwin asked the same question.
There are some people who should be naturally selected.
All right, Hitler. Survival of the
Does
fittest.
he have traits?
Okay, I don't mean like, I mean like it's good, but like it's like, but there are some people who are just like so stupid, like, you have to admit, you have had some
But
students
now,
who you
Natural
thought,
selection takes care of itself. Like, if that is a being that no one is
oh, I'm
finding
not
attractive
about it,
to,
but like,
then it's like, that will not produce heirs, and they will just weed it out. You know what I mean?
so you're saying ugly people don't have kids?
No, I'm just saying, you know, people with traits that should not continue.
what kind of
Bigots,
Oh, no, yeah.
They can survive.
Because epinephrine is like,
racists.
yeah.
They survive.
'Cause you feel
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Those are not. Yeah, wait. I was about to say
Like,
those aren't genetic. What are you talking about? If you're
Open-mindedness is though,
wait, what?
or
and
lack thereof.
closed-mindedness, and just like a willingness to like listen and to try new things and openness. I mean, openness is a trait in like personality. Oh, it's the ocean. Oh,
Where is that in biology?
well, I don't know if like you can point to a gene and be like, this
Right.
one's openness gene, but parents that are more like trying new things.
Middle Eastern parents.
Oh my god.
I can say that, I'm Middle Eastern. I can say that.
You're
I can
what?
say that.
Are you done with the first? You haven't even written anything.
But I was writing it with Jessica.
No, I was writing it, you were listening.
I've been writing the whole time.
Bill would get scared.
You can say that.
Soda. Space
What
it
does
out.
the S stand for at the end? So then, like, why? What's
Don't worry about it.
okay?
I don't know.
What if we spell the word wrong?
That's fine.
Like,
I mean, don't spell like id wrong.
ED.
ego.
Ed. They're Ed. Here's my Ed. I keep my Ed underwater.
Ed is a fish.
PPG, so
Oh, you put some right there. Oh,
I remember when this is actually a really like random story. So people were talking about like eating disorders, and they were referring to it as ED. And I kept thinking they were talking about erectile dysfunction, but it was women, so I was so confused. I felt like sharing. Is that on video? That's on video.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to post that on YouTube.
Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Click the bell for
They can't
notifications
smash it
and comment below.
just be like, oh, that's somewhere my camera cut out. That's so wild.
Tap lightly on that like button so you can't smash.
They have TV.
What's so bad for you?
Somatic is.
Both kinds of eating.
Who cares? Calm yourself down.
I love this class.
I know.
Is economics is the first semester, right? Or is
Yeah,
it always, or is it different?
It's different. It's depending on the rest of your schedule.
Is it as fun as this?
It's a blast.
That's
Hey,
sarcasm.
be nice.
If you have Mrs. Taylor, it's a blast.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I took DC. Is that a bad idea?
I'm the only AP and DC eco teacher. I don't teach on them. I don't teach on them. So if you have if you're taking advanced economics next year, you have me. There's no like second person. But I mean, you want the second semester if you're taking. I think what they're planning on doing is if you sign up for AP, you'll have it in the spring, and then if you have DC, you can have it in the spring or the fall. Yes. But there's no test for that, so it doesn't matter when you have it. Yes.
I took DC for both.
If psychology used to be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Last year the
Why?
Why? Because
School, yeah.
Why
It's
does
No,
no,
I-
don't want it to be a full year
it's not.
class?
It costs more money.
I'm talking about
And I know, they're like, how? So I
More
can
teachers.
teach. I would be needing to hire more teachers because I can have more students.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying, I just don't want to. I just don't wanna understand.
I refuse. I don't understand
But I think
it.
we're kind of going on a good pace.
We're going
We're
at
going on a
a
good pace.
like
Insanely fast.
insanely fast pace. It's like I constantly feel that I am talking a mile a minute. But and then like you see like if you like follow because there's some AP Psych teachers that are like all over the place and they're like on Instagram and they're on like whatever and they're like this is what my kids did today and it's like they made a full model of the brain in Play-Doh and they took candy and they took a bag of candy to figure out the normal model of like all the different colors of candy in like the candy bag and it's like this is they do actual experiments. Like I'll go to meetings and stuff and they'll pass out resources and I'm like, oh, we have a coloring book for the brain. We spent about a week on it. I'm all like, I spent about a day on the brain. I spent a day on all the lobes and then a day on like basically everything else. And then a day on the
How
neuron.
much are you covering everything, or is there still some stuff here?
Oh no, there's some stuff I haven't covered. But it's like you could get all the things that I haven't covered wrong and still get a 5. Like if you know everything else. And like there is more studies that say it's better to go deep in fewer things than like very shallow on everything. Very shallow on everything is like you don't know anything well enough to even eliminate answer choices. But if you know 90% and you not know 10%, you can eliminate answer choices because you know what it isn't.
Oh, you said like we're always gonna have like one FRQ that we don't know one term for.
Oh, 100%.
What are we gonna write?
You are going to use context clues. You're going to try your best, and you're going to say like, "What word does this sound like the most?"
Do I have to act like I know what it is?
Yeah. Don't do something vague because vague is usually always wrong. Go pick something and go all in. Okay. We done brainstorming on the first one,
Oh, we were.
or just like coming up with an answer?
Oh, I mean,
I mean. What did they do? It's the same test.
Second.
Same thing as history?
in the afternoon. No, history's on the 5th.
Okay. It's bio.
Took DC.
DC
No
was
AP
where it's
test.
at.
What?
DC US history is where it's at.
Oh, you're biased.
No.
No.
You're biased.
It's just
Yeah,
a
up
fact.
until just like 4 years ago, I thought AP was the best, and then someone got his master's, and then I decided that DC is the best. And up until just about now, I thought AP Eco was the best, but next year I'm feeling that DC Eco is going to be the best. That's just me.
Oh.
That and I get extra money,
Oh. That's why it's better.
or like $80 a head.
Really?
So, gotta pay for that
Why
master's.
is that going to Schoology?
Okay, are we ready? Here we go. So, did I give this FRQ to you?
Yes.
Okay, that's why it looks so familiar.
Yeah.
It was like,
It was like
it was a test.
Was it a test?
Or
Or was
did
it
we-
actual
No, it
practice?
was
Like
practice
the
of
practice
FRQ.
one that we did.
We practiced, we did, okay, it wasn't a grade. So, I don't remember. I know that I have used this before as a test, and I wasn't sure if I used it on a test on you or else it's just practice. So, it is close to sunset. Brandon's hiking in the woods. The dog suddenly stops walking and starts to growl menacingly at something in the shadows of the forest. Brandon squints his eyes and tries to make out what alerted the dog. He tightens his grip on the leash, strains to hear any movement in the dry leaves. He can also feel his pulse increase and his mouth feels dry. Explain how the following concepts applies to Brandon's situation. So there's so many things that you could say here. Just because what I'm saying is what not you're saying, it doesn't mean what you have is wrong. But for epinephrine, this is how your body's response to fear. Your body releases epinephrine, and you have fight or flight. So the idea that his mouth or his pulse is increasing is probably because epinephrine is being released. Do y'all have something else that you're like, I put this or I thought this?
Can we talk about adrenaline? Would that be sufficient?
No, because it's not asking about adrenaline, it's asking about epinephrine. You can say it works like adrenaline, but you need to use the word epinephrine.
Yeah.
Okay. Chemically, they're the same. But epinephrine is a neurotransmitter, therefore it's released by neurons. But adrenaline is released by the adrenal gland, and therefore it's a hormone.
Okay.
They're both chemically the same.
But one's like
But
this
one
and one's
is-
seconds later.
Yes. Yes. And so like in terms of if you were defining them, they'd be the same thing. But they're not. All right, what about your peripheral nervous system? I said part of the nervous system that allows Brandon to physically respond because it's voluntary movement. Because you can talk about the somatic nervous system.
Oh my god.
You could also talk about the autonomic nervous system as part of the peripheral nervous system. Because remember, peripheral is split into both of those things. Luke, did you put something different?
Yeah.
What did you put?
I thought peripheral, even though we just talked about it, I thought peripheral was the only sympathetic parasympathetic side. So,
Okay.
So I said there was a sympathetic response.
Could you break it down like that far down? Like, could you say like it controls
You
your
can,
sympathetic-
but you went so far down, like you'd say, well, the peripheral system is split into two, the somatic and the autonomic, but the autonomic he's responding using his autonomic nervous system, which is part of the peripheral nervous system, as his heart is beating fast or something like that.
So you don't
But
use
because
it.
he's actually gripping the leash and strains to hear, the gripping the leash is voluntary movement brought on by the somatic nervous system, which is part of the peripheral nervous system. So you could have gone either way.
Pulse increasing mouth dry.
But if you said pulse increasing mouth dry for epinephrine, you don't want to use that same thing for peripheral.
Oh, okay.
Okay, occipital lobe, something vision, something look seeing. No, squint is not seeing.
For like
Squint is
trying
like
to-
your eye,
Volunteer.
don't say squints. You can't talk, you can say it allows him to see and allows him to process what he's seeing visually. But saying squints, that's not your eye movement. That's not vision. This is like your eyelids are moving.
Like he squints on his eye to see what his dog,
Yeah,
like to
like-
make out what his dog saw.
The focus
Like,
would
if you're
be on
just
he
copying-
squints.
Yeah, the focus is still on these squints.
So you
As he is squinting, he is using his occipital lobe to see what he sees. Something like that. But it's not his occipital lobe that is causing him to squint. All right, natural selection. I said something about ancestors passed on his genes a lot to survival, and so his responses are responses that are allowing him to survive, and therefore he's more likely to pass on his genes. Did you guys have something different? What did y'all say? All right, good. Okay,
I got it wrong.
what'd you say?
I don't want to say.
This is how we learn, Luke. Go.
Okay, I put I put natural selection explains the increased grip. He doesn't want to die.
I mean, kind of.
I mean, he doesn't want to die, and if he doesn't die, he's more likely to pass on his genes, and those genes are survival of the fittest genes, and blah blah blah. I don't know, but that's too vague.
What is
Makes your heart beat faster, keeps you awake. Okay, I'm gonna use some time to work on this last one, 5 minutes ish to work on this last one, and then we'll go over it, and then we're done.
homework?
You're leaving, Luke?
No, I just wrote a note that I want to go over the homework that I got wrong.
Oh yeah.
Do you know George Prince? Do
I do.
you know Sophia Marcano?
I do.
Do you know Liz Bro?
Yes.
Do you know Susie Hudgens?
Yes.
I don't know if they took AP. They probably didn't. Do you like them?
As a group, yes.
Are they in the same?
No, I like them.
Are they
I
in the
don't-
same class?
No. Susie and Liz, maybe. George, no. Who else did you say?
Sophia Marcano.
I had her last semester.
Okay.
Are there any kids in your class that you still don't know their name?
Don't be mean.
In our class.
It
Because
takes me
there's
a
some
while
kids in my class,
sometimes.
in our class that
It
don't
takes me
like
a
it.
while sometimes. Jess. It takes me a while sometimes just because if they are wallflowers and they're quiet, it's
Half the
hard.
people on that side are
Wait.
over there.
That's what wallflower means?
I didn't know
Wallflower is
either.
just someone that like stands on the wall and it's just like observing and they're not
So
really
is that like the movie? Like Perks of Being a
wallflower.
I thought I never watched it, so I didn't know. I thought it was like a
You don't have to lie.
name.
No, it is wallflower is just
Yes,
someone
it
who
is.
just like sits and they're just happy to be there, but they're not you are not a wallflower.
Interesting. I think in our class, that side of the class is kind of a wallflower.
These two are
Except for Keegan.
wallflowers. These two are wallflowers.
Those two?
Gracie does.
Oh,
They don't speak.
wall.
It's nothing bad. I would be them in class. I would not be you in class.
I talk too much.
Yes.
I actually do talk a lot. It's just I only talk in this class whenever I have something random to say. Like when you're talking
Like every
about
5
the little,
But I don't think
Yeah,
they ask
it'll-
any questions.
like the little the things that you said committed mass suicide, and I just turn the whole class discussion around.
Yeah, and I started crying. I really appreciate that.
I don't ask Kelvin questions.
Oh, it's when I walked like to the corner
No
of the
one
room
asked
and I needed to like gather myself because she said like dogs commit suicide when their owners are like really abusive to them.
Really?
And
Yeah.
so I walked over here and I was like, must save all dogs.
Dogs
actually do that?
That's
Yes,
what Oni
they
said. And
can.
just even if that's wrong, just the idea of that happening
It's
makes
not
me
wrong.
want
It
to
happened in a pound. Oh, see, well.
stop talking. Okay.
Does it happen to orcas?
Yes, it
Oh, I
is.
know. I heard about that.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
Blackfish.
See, look, I would just go off
I
talking
hate
about it, but
that.
even though
That's so awful.
Probably it's best that this class is not a year long because we'd be having so much extra time. We would just go on tangent after tangent after tangent.
We're learning.
Which would be good.
Uh-huh.
Increased
the
discussion.
psychology of an orca.
There's no grouping.
No, because I remember looking at a shark brain. It looks like a uterus. It's really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was it like a hammerhead?
No, it literally looks like just
Camera needs to be
because I remember we were comparing like a shark brain and an orca brain, and we're like, look at how smart the orca is, because every orca, their pod has every like different languages. So like there's like orca English, orca Spanish, and if they cross, they don't understand what the other say. Yeah, it's incredible. Then we looked at a shark, and it just looked just a little dummy, and they're like, hey, no, it's really like they're like the reason they bite people is because they're like, oh, I thought you were a seal, and just leave. But you don't see orcas do that. I don't know what a shark's problem is.
Orcas
What about
hunt.
dolphins?
Orcas
But
are
like-
Dolphins
sharks.
are menaces to
No, but like
society.
orcas will like
Very
work together.
scary.
They'll like, have you seen them?
They're like
There's,
Yeah.
like, there's
Yeah.
a seal, like whatever,
Yeah.
they'll splash. So the
I'd say
seal
like the
gets like
second smartest animal.
maybe behind gorilla. Gorillas are
I
like
thought dolphins were right behind
are
rabbits.
right
No, dolphins are scary. They're
Dolphins are really
terrifying.
Dolphins rape.
Yeah, they're
Dolphins
Really?
have sex
Yes.
for fun.
they're
Yeah.
humans. They try to rape humans
Really?
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
No
they
way.
do. They
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
it's happened
SeaWorld?
enough for it to be significant.
do. Yeah, there's like lots of videos. of
Yeah, I don't know
What?
why. Yeah,
What?
Where are these
Why
videos?
why would someone take a video of that?
Where are these
I
videos?
don't know. For signing.
No, but someone did it voluntarily too.
No, it
There
was
was
more
a,
like
no. There was like a. Okay,
Yeah.
I
You
can't
don't,
explain.
you don't need to
There
talk
was-
about that.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
it
okay.
is.
There was
voluntarily.
like someone liked their dolphin so much.
oh,
Yes.
I think I did see this. They're all like, I'm married
Right.
to this dolphin,
Yeah,
and the dolphin's all like, it's a fling, dude.
that's so weird.
So cute.
Back into this.
Alright, have you almost done?
This is all in a video.
No.
And
I'm getting paid for this.
Oh, right.
What's the rule of 72?
Are you asking?
Wait, what?
Oh,
still one.
crap, hold on. Rule 72
What he said.
is, it's an eco thing, but it's like it's an on the eco thing and not an eco thing. 72 divided by the interest rate tells you however many years it takes for that thing to double.
Really?
Yeah, so if
I mean,
the
unless it's
interest
5.
rate is 2%, 72 divided by 2, that's however many years it'll take your savings account at 2% to double.
There were some interest rate questions on the SAT or
Were there
things
really?
things like that.
Yeah.
It was like
Oh my God.
exponential
It was like
growth.
in 2000, the interest
Well,
rate
you
was 72%. How much was it in 1999?
Yeah.
I didn't know the
That's
answer. I didn't know how to do it.
It was like random questions.
That's eco.
Man, I remember taking eco
There was
for
a bunch of-
it's just
summer.
like it's like
Everyone should have just taken
no, like
eco for summer.
why
All
are
you
you
do is watch
making me
Shark
like
Tank.
calculate the
but
math
it was
for
like-
me?
It was so.
The financial one?
But you'll have to take eco in college. It's a required course.
No.
Well-
And now you have no background knowledge.
No.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'll take it for summer again and watch more Shark Tank.
To not fully grasp any economic
Yeah.
concepts in your entire
Okay.
life.
She was an
I was-
English teacher from Tomball Memorial.
I feel like the SAT was 20 days ago.
Like that's
It was
that's
this
the
morning.
thing.
It was like fun.
That's like the main thing. And then it's like that.
I see.
That's an FRQ. That's also an FRQ. No, a PPF. Okay.
I'm okay. Yeah. I really.
All right, kids. Akira? Nice. Akira is a high school student who's been struggling academically because out of nowhere it's a dude. Because he has severe trouble staying awake in his classes. He had tried to consume coffee and energy drinks to keep himself awake, but nothing seems to help. Akira finally contacted the doctor who scheduled an overnight sleep study in order to discern the real problem. Explain how each of the following concepts could apply to a situation. An EEG. Well, while he's doing a sleep study, they are probably going to connect him to an EEG, which measures brain waves, and he will be able to see if, like, how often he wakes up in the night or how deep of sleep he's getting. Something, brain waves. Okay. Stimulants. Coffee is a stimulant, and energy drinks are a stimulant, and so that's actually probably going to increase activity in his brain, which might be
Oh, that's why you can have a heart attack or you like take too much like stimulants.
yes.
I
Go ahead, Ryan.
Can you treat narcolepsy with stimulants?
That's how they treat it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And so his activity in the brain is probably going to be that's going to affect his brain activity. It's going to make his heart beat faster. It's going to maybe make him sweat or something.
I have a question.
What?
What if he said it increases energy? Is that too vague?
It's too big.
Okay.
Give me what energy looks like.
Activity in the brain.
Melatonin. He might have a melatonin imbalance because melatonin is the chemical that is released when you sleep. It's the chemical that makes you fall asleep. And so if your body, there's a few things that make your melatonin being released. One of those things is darkness. Darkness, you will start falling asleep. Another thing, even if it's not dark, laying horizontally, it will release serotonin or melatonin. If there's light though, like your phone, you should not be on your phone before sleep. You should not be in your phone in the bed.
You
Like-
can turn on the mode thing where it's like the.
Yeah, it's still going to tell your brain because your brain is still like a caveman brain. Like we have not been that far out of like caveman times. So your caveman brain is saying, wow, look at that bright light. It must be the sun. It is not time to sleep. It's time to wake up. Okay.
But I feel like sometimes
Narcolepsy-
when I'm on my phone watching YouTube videos, I just kind of doze off. Even though there is
Really?
light in my face.
It's really bad. It's really bad. Like you're dozing off in spite of the YouTube videos, not because of it.
You're telling me that
Yeah.
we can remove half a kid's brain.
What the?
No, it's a procedure.
Hemispherectomy.
Yeah, but our brain can't see when we're on our phone. It can't tell the difference.
What the heck?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't get it.
we can adapt so much, but we can't even.
We need just one more bullet point. Right.
Oh, I need.
Okay, narcolepsy. Since he's tired all the time, he might be not getting restful sleep, so he might actually have narcolepsy, which is a sleeping disorder. And so the doctor might realize that he's drowsy all the time, and it might be because of the sleeping disorder of narcolepsy. No. Okay. Questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, concerns, or random anecdotes?
When's the next one?
The next tutoring that we have is on Tuesday of next week. That is the 18th, and we're covering sensation, perception, and development. So eyes, ears, perception, whatever, and then development, which is Piaget, Erickson, Freud, Kohlberg, Mayor Ainsworth in the strange situation of that leave the baby in the room, secure judgment and secure judgment. So zygote, embryo, fetus. That is what we're covering next time.
I look forward to these, I think.
That's the nerdiest thing I've ever heard.
No, it's actually interesting. I actually.
Is it really the nerdiest thing you've ever heard?
No, you definitely.
No, I've definitely heard
Yeah.
nerdier. But like
Thought so.
What's some of the nerdiest stuff you've ever heard?
the nerdiest thing,
Ever.
I'm in robotics. Like I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with robotics. Good for them. That is by definition nerdy.
What's the definition of
Or like,
nerd?
I watch anime voluntarily.
Uh-oh.
That right there is all like, oh,
Well, actually.
I have 3
nerd.
lightsabers.
What?
3 lightsabers.
Oh, that's
Think we have
kind
a
of
new
nerdy,
winner.
Ryan.
Think we have a new winner.
And a katana.
I paid $150 for each of them, by the
Didn't
way.
Mr. Smith go off about Star Wars when we were talking about Hamlet? Remember? He was like, "What is it, guys? What is the reference?"
I got
And
it.
then
I
I'm
said
looking at him.
Scooby-Doo.
He's like,
of his dad.
I got it.
It's Darth
I was the one who got
You're like, Mr. Smith, how could we have possibly made that connection? Like,
I
I
made the
was
No,
connection.
and
What
I said
is
something
it?
like,
made
I
the
was like, I
connection.
didn't watch Star Wars as a kid. He just gave me a stare, like I had murdered someone in front
No,
of me.
it's
I
equivalent
mean,
to
but
it.
at
It's the same thing.
this point, you're like actively avoiding Star Wars if
Exactly.
you haven't seen it.
Exactly.
I haven't really seen a lot of it. I don't know.
No, it's
So, but
literally it's
surprisingly-
Episode 1, 2,
but
3, 4, 5,
No, but
6, 7,
surprisingly,
8,
my
9.
aunt
Mandalorian,
has all the
Rogue One.
collections, all the special
Wow.
editions on VHS that she sold and got a lot of money for.
Oh well, yeah.
And I was like, no.
I should
Okay.
for Disney Plus. Disney Plus.
but $100 a year.
That your parents pay for.
My parents paid for